friends, welcome back to Canadian Cutting Edge, and today we're looking at a knife from Kubey Knife. Kubey Knife, I forget, why do I forget exactly which way it is? Anyhow, we've got a lockback knife from them, or backlock, whichever way you want to call it. And I don't know if this is their first one or not, but it's kind of cool. We've got a very sort of squarish kind of shape, 14C28N blade, and lockback. Comes what, 7 different, I don't know. We've got 3 colors in G10, and then you got an Ultim. You can get it black wash blade or a bead blasted blade. And it's a fairly small pocket knife. If you're looking for a lockback knife, maybe you're interested in this one. Keep on watching. Give my channel a subscribe if you like this video. Hit the like button, all that stuff. I'd appreciate it very much. It does help out. Let's get to the tabletop and get started. All right, here she is. Not a very big knife, just under 7 inches, and I'll do a full suite of measurements and stuff a little bit later on in the video. It's actually the very tiniest bit over 3 inches in the blade length. I guess a couple sharpenings and you could get it under the 3 inches. So if you live in a 3-inch area and you really like this knife, just sharpen it down a little bit when you get it, or measure yours. Yours might be slightly different because it's just barely, and like I said, I'll do those measurements. It's a kind of cool little knife, and I'm kind of happy with this. The classification I'd give this, or the case use, this is probably an urban EDC for somebody who either lives in a jurisdiction where you can't have one-hand opening knives that lock, it needs to be a 2-hand opening, or for whatever kinds of reasons you need a knife that's sort of like this. The way it opens, probably the 2-hand opening rules probably the most, but you really can open it with one hand if you want to. It's not that strong of a back spring in here, and with these fullers in here that you can grip them like that with your fingers and then just roll it with your thumb. It's not a fast opening kind of knife, but you still could. But technically, this would be classified as a 2-hand opening knife. Yeah. The lockback is way here at the tail end of the handle. Nice deep button in there for that. Other than that, it's sort of a squarish design, although this measurement is a little bit smaller than this. So it's not a pure rectangle with just this cutout. It's got a little bit of stuff on it, a little bit differences. The screws on here are T8s, which I really like. The pocket clip, like you can see the holes here for the pocket clip, they are right and left. Those are T6s right there, those flush T6 screws. So, if that's a concern of yours or not. Sticks out a decent amount right here, easily goes in the pocket. Let me pull out my pocket here to show you. Climbs over. It's got a little bit of a flat section on the top of that right there. Climbs over and it holds really well. It's not going to fall out accidentally. It holds well. It's a decent pocket clip. And like I said, it's right or left. Got a lanyard hole, not quite in the middle of the tail of the handle there. So you can fit 550 paracord through there, even if it's full, if you're careful. Melt the end down, make sure it's small enough and round, and get it through there. So you can do that if you want to. Certainly smaller paracord will work just fine. Other than that, flat slab G10, rounded edges everywhere, and it just sort of works. The handle, like I said, it's got this cove cut into there. It looks like it should not be comfortable in the hand, but it's actually quite comfortable in the hand, especially if you take the pocket clip off. The pocket clip, I wouldn't call it uncomfortable, but in my right hand, when the pocket clip's on the right hand side, it's a little bit annoying in the flesh here sometimes, not very often. Like, I'm being quite nitpicky if I'm saying the pocket clip is uncomfortable. It's actually not bad. And surprisingly, it looks just sort of super generic, but it's actually comfortable in hand. And easy to index. Pocket clip on the wrong side is uncomfortable. So if you're left-handed and you've got it on the right side, that is a little uncomfortable, but just put it on the left side, you know, if you're left-handed. Like I am, I'm left-handed, but I'm ambidextrous basically, but I grew up left-handed. So, you know, that's, I don't know, is there any other cons? I don't really like T6 screws on there, but that's just on the pocket clip, and you're not going to be moving that very often at all. You know, to tear down the knife though, you do have to take out that one screw, but maybe just do it on this side. So, and these are T8s here too, so that's it. The lanyard hole, again, that's not really a con, it's just not quite a pro. The placement of it, it just looks kind of a little bit odd, but it's not a problem. It's not a problem at all. There's a lot of pros on this. I like that it's fully ambidextrous. I like that it's 14C28N steel. Blackwash finish, it's just lightly tumbled. There is one of the Ultim ones that looks more of a gray titanium coating that they've then stonewashed instead of the black. So, or maybe it's PVC. I'm not sure what that coating they used before they tumbled it for the blackwash. Badging's not terrible. It's fairly small badging. Oh, by the way, the designer right here, let me pull up their name again. Tiguous. Tiguous is the designer name there. 14C28N right there, and Kubey right there. I'd much prefer, you know, badging on the flats and not on the main bevel, but Kubey's listened and they've made their badging quite a bit smaller than they used to do when they were a younger company. So that's not bad. Styling, like I said, it's not a super stylish, like it's not, in my opinion, it's not a very attractive looking knife, but it's not ugly in my opinion. I like this fuller right here. It's well designed for using, and flat spine. There's no jimping on it at all. I didn't really miss it for the use. This is sort of like a lighter use knife. It's not a big heavy use knife. Not super thin at the edge, but not bad. And it just works quite well as a EDC kind of knife, especially as an urban EDC kind of knife. Doesn't take long to roll that out, you know, in one hand if you want to. So it's not a terribly slow knife. This lock is quite secure. No play up and down, side to side. You know, it's your typical back lock, lock back style of lock on there. Of course, the coating's wearing off because I actually use the knives when I'm testing, and I've carried this for quite a while. And yeah, I like it. There's no wear on the coating yet. Now, I didn't do super heavy duty testing with this, but you know, I did my standard testing and the coatings held up quite well. Kubey does a pretty good job of that. And the pocket clip, it's okay for, I mean, the color and stuff. I don't like bead blast finish on knives, and that's why I chose the blackwash. I would prefer if the other variant was just a regular stonewash instead of a bead blast, because I like the stonewash finish, the standard stonewash finish. So my second nicest one here, I guess, is the blackwash. Quite nice. Let's do the measurements, and then I'll tear it down a little bit and I'll tell you some more. The measurements on this thing, the weight, 94 grams, 3.32 ounces. Not light, not heavy. It on the lighter side, but not super light. The sharpening from the factory, not quite so good. 340 bests on my score. I stropped it and it got within acceptable limits. So I guess maybe whoever sharpened this thing left a consistent burr on it. Because when I do my sharpness test on my tester, you know, I test at least 3 times, and I tested this one I think 4 or 5 times on different spots. Yeah, so, you know, they must have just done something a little bit strange, but, you know, stropped it and it's fine. And of course you can sharpen it. Got a sharpener's choil that doesn't go very deep, but it comes just past the end of the plunge, so it's easy to sharpen to the end without making it look ugly, you know, doing that smile up the plunge. So that's pretty good. Oh, I was doing measurements, wasn't I? The cutting edge length, so from my tip of my fingernail to the tip of the blade right there, 72.8 millimeters, 2.89 inches. Tip of the blade to the closest spot on the liners. Now the liners are slightly exposed, out further than the G10. That is 76.9 millimeters, 3.03 inches. So like I said, it's just barely over 3 inches. And you should be able to sharpen that back without problem. Maybe the first time you sharpen it, maybe the second time you sharpen it, I don't know. The thickness of the blade stock, 2.97 millimeters, which is 0.1165, so just under an eighth of an inch thick. The blade depth this way, it is widest right here at the heel of the blade, and since it's a slight drop point, they call it a straight back on the Kubey's site, but it's a very slight drop point. That is, well, I didn't give you that measurement, did I? That is 18.6 millimeters, 0.733, so just under 3/4 of an inch this way. The thickness behind the grind, so just, you know, this apex sharpening, so where the black line is, how thick is the steel right there? 0.54 millimeters, 21 thousandths. A little bit less here, a little bit more here, by about a thousandths or a thousandths and a half. So pretty consistent. I wouldn't mind it to be a little thinner, but it's not terrible. The handle length, so the steel liners stick out, like I said, just a tiny bit. This is 98.9 millimeters, so almost 10 centimeters, 3.89 inches. The grip area, it's about 9.5 centimeters, 95 millimeters, roughly about 3 3/4 of an inch. So not bad. My hands are wide enough to be in the extra large range, and you know, it fits just fine for me doing that kind of grip. You know, this kind of grip, the hammer grip. You know, it's a decent sized knife. So if you've got large hands and smaller, this thing's easily going to fit well in your hands. It's not that small that you should, you know, say, oh no, that's too small for me. At least to grip comfortably. No, it's fine. How thick is it this way? 12.5 millimeters, 0.492 of an inch. The handle depth, like I said, it's a little less here than back here. So the widest point is 22.8 millimeters, 0.897. So, you know, 9/10 of an inch here. And when it's closed, it's, oh, I don't have that number right here. I'll give you a rough number. I guess I didn't take that number because I don't have my calipers downstairs here. Let's just make sure. Your angle will look different, but it looks like it's about 25 millimeters, which is basically an inch. Yeah, just under an inch in your pocket, so that's not an awful lot. And the total length of this is 176 millimeters, 6.93 inches. Next thing to go over is the cost. White Mountain Knives doesn't have the G10 versions. They only have the Ultim handle versions, so they're a little more, $60. You can save 10% with coupon code CCE. That means it's $54 US for them there. You can buy them directly from Kubey. They ship most places around the world. What's their website? KubeyKnife.com. $70 US, $80 for the Ultim. In Canada, you can buy these Blades Canada. Go to Blades Canada if you are in Canada and you want one of these. Good price, especially with the dollar the way it is now compared to the United States dollar. $71.99 for this, which is, you know, less money than it is in the States. If you like the Ultim finish and both blade styles, then it's $89.99. Now let's take this thing apart. And I'll show you, oh, I didn't even talk about this. It's got a half stop. Not that many lockback knives have a half stop. I did review one recently, the Schnitzel Kniv, Kvin, not the Kniv, the Kvin, and it's got the same kind of, you know, half stop right there. This is a lot of ways mechanically and stuff very much the same as this knife, but this is if you want a big, hard working knife, like this is a outdoorsman, hard working, or you just need a big knife, big solid. You can even hear the locks harder, the back spring tension's pushing down harder. You know, that's if you want something really tough and big. If you want something more urban, more EDC, a little lighter, smaller, you know, this thing's not bad. Not bad at all. So let me, I'm going to take off this side, and it's not spinning. So there you go. So looks like a D-shaped pin right there. And oh, this screw wasn't super tight, but I didn't notice anything coming loose while I was using it, doing my testing. Whoop. And let's take this screw out. Oh, didn't spin it far enough. Come on, Jake. By the way, those of you who care about me, thank you so much. My cold is mostly gone. I got a bit of a Kleenex here, I guess some oil. As that coating, that black coating, breaks down, you get that residue on here. So there's a little bit of, this is my first time taking this apart. A little bit of oil residue there. Oh, look at that. That's even a D-shaped pin in there for, you know, these screws. That's a D-shaped pin, and that's a D-shaped pin, so that's quite nice. Let me push that one back just a little bit. I don't want to push it all the way out. I just want to take this liner out. Do I want to? I don't really want to. I don't like reassembling liners. What's this? What's that? Oh, that's probably just an alignment pin. Oh yes, that's going to be holding that lock spring. You can see that gray or silver lock spring right there. So that's, like I said, on this one, it's really strong. This one, it's not a super strong back spring there. And let me see. I don't want to take it apart, but people sometimes want to see in there. So where's my... I don't want to put a piece of metal in there and pry because that scratches stuff. Well, I guess I'm not going to take it apart right now because I don't have my plastic pry tool here right now. But there you go, a little bit of skeletonizing, a little bit of liner loss. Check out some of my other videos. If you don't know how lockback works, you know, there's a lot of videos out there on how they work with this back spring. You know, you got that flat edge there, and that's how it does the stop. So that spring tension here is holding it in place. But that's how it's made, and let's put this back together again and push that pin all the way back in. There you go. If you have a tough time moving that, what I did was I was moving this so the tension was changing on that pin, so it's easier to take in and out then. Well made. I kind of like this knife. The price point seems a little higher than I expected. So that might, you know, affect your decision to get it or not. But if you want something that's a little less threatening, you know, maybe don't get the red one, but you know, a lockback style knife is more socially acceptable in a lot of places, legally acceptable in a lot of places more so, and you know, for that it's kind of good. I do like that the main screws here are, oh, I tightened that up too much, are T8s. Yeah, still, oh, maybe these are too tight. Just loosen that up a tiny bit. Yeah, I'll have to play with this and adjust this. And that spring doesn't want to go down. Maybe that was too tight there too. I was hoping to do this in real time so that you could see how much work it is to set this up. Now these are not super tight right now, and it still doesn't want to move very easily like it did before. And all I did was take that off. But hopefully this video is not too long. I'm just going to take another quick look in here to see if I can... There's nothing to see though. By the way, they say it's ceramic ball bearings in here, so that should move easily. So I'm thinking did I way over tighten that or something? Or did I put something back when I put that, when I pushed this back and forth, did I over tighten it? Yes, even right now with this off, it's feeling tighter than it was before. and there's no screw tension holding it tight. Let's try a little bit of my lubrication here. And we'll add some onto the surface here. Drip, come on, drip. There we go. But I'll try to get some into where the bearings are. Oh, there, my furnace fan just went off. That's pretty loud, isn't it? I guess that's my 20 minutes. At this resolution, my camera runs for about 20 minutes and it stops. Get some more oil in there. Oof, maybe that's too much oil. Oof, that's a lot of oil. Doesn't need that much. That's feeling a whole lot better now. That's feeling like it did before. There we go. That feels great now. Now let's put this back together. And see if it's gonna work the way I expected it to. I like the build quality. Kubey's been doing pretty good build quality. I kind of like them. And don't want that over tight in there, Jake. Fairly snug, not super snug. There we go. No blade play. Nicely done. Yeah, it's a decent knife. I quite like this thing. It's different. It's a bit unique. It's not, 100% unique, but it's nice. It's not perfect, but there's a lot going for this knife. It's not too heavy. It's a good size. You could use this with a sleeve easily because it doesn't have any, crazy protrusions or something. You take the pocket clip off and use it that way if you wanted to. It's a decently built knife. I'm quite happy with this thing. By the way, Kubey sent this to me. I'll have to put it on text earlier on in the screen on the video. And yeah, Kubey's been doing some good stuff. I really like this brand, and it keeps growing on me over time. And I've liked it all along, but it keeps growing on me. Blade alignment, it was straight before. I didn't show it to you, and it's straight now still, like in the middle. Nicely done. Fairly comfortable, decent badging, good steel, small. It's not really a plunging kind of knife. There's nothing to protect your hand. If you ran into something hard, is your hand going to slip over that and cut your fingers? Potentially. So it's not a plunging knife, but slicing and cutting, it does an okay job. Lunchtime to cut an apple apart, yeah, just fine indeed. So there you go. This is the Akino KU2102x, where X is any letter of the alphabet, at least the first 7, 8 letters, 6, 7 letters, whatever it is. By Kubey. I like it. I recommend it. Thank you so much for watching. Thanks for liking, sharing, commenting, and thank you so much if you're one of those few subscribers that I have on this channel. Yeah, I've got like almost 18,000 subscribers, but less than 10%, less than 9% of my views come from my subscribers. So if you would subscribe and watch some more, I'd appreciate it. It helps me out. It helps me out with other companies sending me stuff. TS Prof has just sent me more sharpening stuff, so you'll see that on the channel soon. At least those of you who watch right to the end now know about that coming up very soon. And remember, friends, always cut towards your chum, not your thumb.